Hi, in this lesson, we will see about what are experiments in Google Ads. So, why do you do experiments? So, experiments will be done to know what is working for us or what is not working for us, right? Say you are running ads for a client in e-commerce. You are running a campaign with manual CPC, and someone from the client team has reached out to you asking to change bidding strategy to maximize conversions. What would you do? Do you change the bidding strategy right away? So take another example. Okay, so you are already running ads successfully. Now client has come to you to change the language or text in the ad copy. What would you do? So do you change the text in existing ad copy, or do you create a new ad copy? So I hope you are getting my point, right? So if you want to change, you can change right away. Okay, but you are not interested in changing the any of the settings without any proper data. So you are getting me, right? So to decide which works better for you, you can run experiments in Google Ads. You can decide based on the data Google provides. So what are experiments in Google Ads? In Google Ads, you are testing different variations of your ads to see which one works best. Okay, such as headlines, descriptions, as I told you, changing the bidding strategy, whether a manual CPC works for you or the maximize conversions works for you. You can test, you can experiment. Okay, so I will walk you through one example where we will be testing on which bidding strategy works for us. Okay, so before we start, we have to be very clear on few things. So one is on which campaign you wanted to perform this experiment. Okay, and the second one is what is the objective of the experiment you wanted to achieve. So you are getting my points, right? So let's start. So I'm going into the interface. Okay, so this is how the interface looks like, right? Now go to the experiments here. In the campaign section only, you will see experiments here, right? Go to here and click on this create button. So here we have different campaign types available for the experiments. We will see them, okay? But now we are focusing on the search campaign. So click on this custom experiment. Here you have two options. One is display and search. As we are in the search experiments, click on search and continue, right? So here you need to give few basic things. Okay, so let's say the campaign name like test. Okay, test, and here you can give the description like manual CPC versus maximize conversions. Okay, so here let's okay, so here you have to select the campaign on which you wanted to experiment, right? So the base campaign means the original campaign. Here the base campaign means the original campaign. So and the experiment campaign, it is called as a trial campaign. Okay, so here you need to select the original campaign on which you wanted to perform the experiment. So click on this pencil icon and select the campaign on which you wanted to work on. So here I am selecting this first one, right? So this is how the name appears, and this is the trail campaign. So this is the name for the trail campaign. You see here, brand core, eg, pmv, traffic test, and this is the original campaign. Base campaign is the original campaign, trail campaign is the experimental campaign where we will be changing the settings. Okay, so after you have done all with these all sections, just create on, click on save and continue. That's it. So your experiment campaign is created. So now you are in the experiment level. So you see here experiment, okay? And in this experiment, you have only one campaign, that is test. So in this, you have to make the changes, whatever you wanted to test. You are getting me, right? So here, as we have discussed, we wanted to test the bidding strategy. So what I will do, I am going into the settings here. So please observe very carefully. So this is very simple, okay, similar to what we have done while creating the campaign. The only thing is here we need to change, or you need to test, or whatever you wanted to test, you have to change it. Okay, so here we are changing the bidding strategy, right? Change bidding strategy, and here we are going into the maximize conversions and click on save. Okay, right. So after you have made the changes for the trail campaign, we have to schedule this experiment. Okay, so here it is the schedule, right? You see here this one at the top, you see the schedule, right? So you click on it. Here we need to decide what are the uh, experiments or what are the conditions it has to rely on, right? So here we see four uh, sections. Okay, so one is experiment goals, experiment split, experiment dates, and enable sync. So these are the four sections that have to be filled before starting the experiment. Okay, so we will see one by one. So what are the experiment goals? So here we need to tell the algorithm what we want to achieve from this experiment, right? So here our objective is to increase the leads. Let's say as this is an leads account only, so leads campaign, I mean it is a leads campaign, right? So see here our objective is to increase the leads, right? So let's say here I select the conversions. Okay, so that is why we have selected the maximize conversion bidding strategy. And what do you want to see with this? So I want to increase the conversions. Okay, you are getting me, right? So and next is the cost. Let's select cost here, and I don't want to have any significant change in the cost. So that means what we are telling the Google algorithms. So we are telling the Google algorithms that we want increase in conversions with the cost remaining same. Okay, so the Google algorithm will consider these uh, conditions. Okay, so I hope you are understanding these points, right? So next is the experiment slate. So here you need to select how the experiment should perform. Okay, so we usually leave it to 50-50. So here you can choose whether you want this. You see here you can observe the trial and base campaign split. So if you set it to 30%, so you're getting me, right? So out of the 100 times the ads are shown, 30 times will be shown from the trail campaign and 70 times will be shown from the base campaign. So it is up to you what you wanted to achieve, but as I suggest, you keep it to the 50%, because when you keep it to the 50%, 50% of the ads, that means let's say uh, a user has come, not a user, let's say out of total 100 ads, so in that case 50% ads will be shown from the trail campaign and 50% ads will be shown from the base campaign. Okay, so I hope you are getting it. So in these advanced sections you have two options. One is search based and another is cookie based. So search based, when you select the search based, so it is where a user gets your ad from both base and trail campaign whenever he searches. Okay, let's assume that a single user has come into Google, okay, and he typed for the query running shoes, and it is this experimental campaigns. So the first time he searches, he will see ad from the base campaign, and he has exited your website, and again he has typed freshly. Okay, now again he has typed the same query running shoes. This time an ad from the base campaign will be shown. Okay, I mean the first time he has the ad has shown from the base campaign, and the second time the ad will be shown from the trial campaign. You are getting me, right? What is the search based means? So what is the cookie based? So cookie based is where let's say, suppose let's assume that a user has searched a query. Okay, if he has shown ad from the trial campaign, no matter how many times he searches, he will be shown ad copy from the trial campaign only. Okay, and another user who has typed for another query, let's say a B user has come and typed for the query like earrings. For him the ad has shown from the base campaign. Okay, so no matter how many times he searches the same query again, okay, the ad will be shown to him only from this base campaign, right? You are getting me the difference, right? So usually this is the we usually go with the cookie based one. So please remember these settings, right? So next is the experiment dates. So how many days you wanted to run this experiment? So the maximum number of days that is allowed by Google is 84 days. Okay, let's give it to 84 days. So it will run, the experiment will be run for 84 days. If you give more than 84 days, it won't take. right? So you are getting me. So it is up to you how many days you wanted to run this experiment, but as a minimum requirement you have to go for at least 30 days. So I'm keeping it to 30 days. And if you, after 30 days also, if you are not satisfied with the data, you can obviously increase the experiment time period, right? So next is the sync. So when you on sync, you see here changes made to your base campaign will automatically sync to the trial campaign. So you don't have to make changes automatically. I mean, you don't have to make the changes manually. So when you off the sync, changes made to the base campaign won't sync to the trial campaign. You won't be able to turn sync on experiment after the experiment starts. So this is the one time setting. You have to choose it before you create this experiment only. So in reality what we do is we usually turn on this one. Okay, so as a tip I suggest you, as long as this experiment is running, don't make any changes to the base campaign or the trial campaign, because when you make any kind of changes the data will be disturbed. So you are getting me, right? So when you select the first option on, whatever the changes that are happening in the base campaign will be reflected automatically in the trial campaign. And when you select this off button, whatever the changes you make in the base campaign won't be reflected in the trial campaign. But as a best practice, turn this on. And again, as a best practice, don't make any changes to the experiment campaigns. Either it is for both, okay, for both base campaign and trial campaign, don't make any changes because your data will be disturbed. So you are getting me, right? After you make all these sections, okay, after you give the details in all these sections, just click on create experiment. You see, here you will be able to see the data for your experiments. So I'm refreshing it. Let's see what will show now. Okay, so go to the custom experiment. So here we can see the details. So this, the name is test. We have kept the name test. It is a custom search. The campaign, the experiment is scheduled. So when you create the schedule, let's say today is July 5th. Okay, the experiment won't start immediately, right? The experiment will start from the next day, so that it can have a complete day. You are getting me, right? So if the experiment starts now, so it don't have any complete day. If the experiment starts from tomorrow, okay, it will have a complete day data. So it will start from the next day only. It won't start immediately. And here you can see the split. It is cookie based, and here we have given 50-50 split, and sync is turned on. All these settings we will be able to see here, right? You are getting me. After you run the data for a certain period of time, after you run these campaigns for the certain period of time, okay, so you just click on this test again. Let's go for the campaign. Let's view from the beginning. Okay, so let's say you are viewing this data after 30 days, right? So in the campaigns you can see how this is different. So this is a funnel symbol, right? We represent it with the funnel symbol. So this is the test campaign and this is the base campaign, right? You are getting me. So if you wanted to view the data, let's say after 30 days you wanted to view the data and review the performance. So how will you do it? You simply go to the experiments. Obviously for these campaigns you can view the performance here, but go to the experiments, right? I will tell you why we have to go to the experiments. Go to the experiments, and here you will be able to see the performance. Okay, as this is a new account, I am not able to show the performance, but after you view the data, after you go to the experiments, for this campaign you will be able to view the data here. Conversions and cost, our metrics, right? That we told Google to keep an eye on it. So you click on it, right? After you click on it, you will land here. So here you will be able to see the data of your experiments, right? If you wanted to end the data, you will obviously end this here, experiment, cancel experiment, right? So what if you wanted to view the data and you wanted to take decisions based on it? So I'm going into here. So I have downloaded a few performance data from the internet that are freely available for us. So this is how the data appears in this place, right? In this place, after you launch the campaign, after you get some traction, or after you get some traffic, you will be able to see data like this. So R means the campaign type, the base means the original one, trial means the experimental campaign. So here you will be able to see the performance. So based on this performance, you can take the decision whether you wanted to run this campaign or whether you wanted to apply those changes that you have made for the trial campaign to the original campaign. So if you see here, the here you will be see a word, right? Statistically significant. So what does it mean? Statistically significant means the Google algorithms able to make decisions. Okay, that means it has sufficient data to conclude. Okay, it has sufficient data to decide which is good and which is wrong. Okay, so whether it is performing or not. Statistically significant means it has sufficient data to decide what your objective wants. Okay, so if there is no statistically significant data, you can obviously extend your time period, experiment time period, right? So after you see, let's say you have satisfied with the data, let's say your trial campaign is running successfully than the original campaign. So in that case, what you can do, so here in this place, okay, in this place it will appear like this. Okay, so if you like the performance of the trial campaign, so you just go and apply the experiment. When you click on apply the experiment, all the changes that you have made in the trial campaign will be applied to the original campaign, right? You are getting me? So this is how you can perform the experiment. And if you don't want to apply any of the changes after you after the time period, after the experiment time period ends, you can obviously come here and end the experiment. You are getting me, right? How we can perform the experiment in Google Ads for the search campaigns. So I hope you are getting this experiment. I suggest you to go ahead and create one of the experiments so that you will get an idea of how to navigate in between these trial campaign and base campaigns. So we will meet in the next lesson.